In the previous lectures, we learned how to use Bettercap to discover all clients on the same network, run an ARP spoofing attack to intercept the data, and then sniff data to see the usernames, passwords, and everything that's getting sent over the network. Now, in order to do this, we actually had to run a number of commands. So first of all, we had to do net.probe on to turn on the probe module. We had to set the settings for the ARP spoof module, turn that on, and then turn the sniffing module on. Now, every time you want to do this, every time you want to intercept data and see it on screen, you're gonna have to do all of these steps that I showed you in the previous lecture. Or, you can use a caplet to do all of that automatically, which is exactly what I want to show you in this lecture. So, what do I mean by a caplet? Well, basically, a caplet is just a text file that contains all of the commands that you want to run. So I'm gonna resize this menu. I'm gonna open a text file. And I'm gonna put it in my root directory, and I'm gonna call it net.cap. And I'm just gonna organize this a little bit to make it easier to follow. And I'm gonna go to the first command that we had to run in order to do this. So again, scrolling up, the first thing we did was net.probe on. So in my text file here, I'm gonna literally type this command, net.probe on. And as we saw, this will automatically start the net.recon module. Again, we enabled both of these modules in order to discover the connected clients and keep automatically discovering any new clients that connect to the network. The next thing that we did was modify the settings for the ARP spoof module. So we did set ARP spoof full duplex to true. I'm going to actually copy this and paste it here. Then we set the target IP. So again, I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. And keep in mind, this is very important. You want to make sure that you change the IP here to the IP of your target all the time. And if you are targeting multiple computers, you can just use the comma and type the next IP after the comma. Next, we turned on the ARP spoof module. So again, this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do ARP.spoof on. And finally, we also run the sniffer by doing net.sniff on. So again, I'm just going to type this in here, net.sniff on. So this is actually a nice summary of what we did in the previous lectures. Again, like I said, every time you want to intercept the connections, you're going to have to start Bettercap and run all of these commands manually. You want to start the probe module. You want to enable the full duplex. So you fool or spoof the target and the router. You want to set your target IP. And you want to turn on the spoof and turn on the sniff. So, to make this very easy, instead of having to type this every time we want to run an ARP spoofing attack and intercept data, I put all of this in a text file. I'm gonna save this text file. So, I'm gonna save this now and I can close it because we're done with it and we can go back here. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to exit out of this. So I'm going to quit Bettercap and I'm going to clear the screen. And if I do ls to list all of the files and directories in the current working directory because right now I am in root. So if I do ls, you can see we have a new file called net.cap. And just to confirm, if I go down to my file manager right here, you can see we have a new file again in the root called net.cap. And all we want to do is feed this net.cap file to Bettercap before we start Bettercap. Now, we don't know how to do this, so we're gonna do Bettercap --help to see all of the options that we can set with Bettercap. And what we want to do is use the -caplet option right here. So, we're gonna run Bettercap like we used to do. First of all, we do Bettercap, followed by iface to specify the interface that is connected to the target network, and in my case, this is eth0. So far this is identical to what I've been doing in the previous lectures. The only difference now is we're gonna use the -caplet option to specify my caplet file that I just created. So, I'm gonna do -caplet, followed by the file that I just created, which is called net.cap, and that's it. Now, before I hit enter, just to confirm to you, I'm gonna go back to my Windows machine, and I'm gonna do ARP, just to show you. And as you can see, right now, the router's IP right here has this MAC address. So after I run this, it should automatically start all of the modules that I just typed, and it should run an ARP spoofing attack. Therefore, the router's MAC address should change to the MAC address of ETH0 that is connected to Kali right here. So I'm gonna hit enter. As you can see, we got no errors at all. If I do help, as you can see, automatically we have the spoof is running, we have the probe, the recon, and the sniff all running as soon as we run Bettercap. If you remember, the first time we ran it, we only had the stream running and we had to do everything manually and set the options manually. So this is a really, really nice way of doing it. Now, let's confirm that everything is working as expected. So I'm gonna go to the Windows machine and we're gonna do ARP again. And perfect, as you can see, the router's MAC address has changed to the same MAC address as the Kali machine and the original router's MAC address. The correct one was this. So this means that this Windows machine is now spoofed, thinking that the Kali machine is the router, and the router now thinks that the Kali machine is this machine. This will place Kali in the middle of the connection. And just to confirm this, just real quick, I'm already in VulnWeb. This is the website that we tested the login before. I'm actually even still logged in. So I'm gonna log out, log in again, and I'm gonna leave the username to admin, and I'm just gonna put a password again, 12345678990. Let's go back and perfect. As you can see, we wouldn't be able to get this if we were not in the middle of the connection. So the fact that we're getting all of this information means that we managed to intercept the data and see everything the target user sends or receives. And again, we have the username and the password right here. Like I said, this will only work with HTTP. But in this lecture, I just wanted to show you an easy way of scripting the commands that you often run with Bettercap, because in the future, we're going to be doing a number of things that rely on us being the man in the middle. So, because I don't want to waste time enabling all of the modules that we're running here, so again, if I right-click this and open with a normal text editor, all you'll have to do is just put your commands in a file, give a file a specific name, and then when you run Bettercap, all you have to do is just use the caplet argument followed by the name of your caplet file.